Hey guys, Troy Dooley, the Beachside CEO, out here just chilling. Matter of fact, we were catching frogs earlier. Had the dog and Dalton or Jetty out here. We were having some fun. And I guess I ought to give a disclosure. Number one, I am one of the companies that I own, Deep South Strategic Solutions, has a consulting agreement with Wake Up Now. We do compliance work with them. I've gone in and spent literally hours with some of their young people, the millennials over there that are part of the One Life, I guess they call it, phenomenal kids, and spent, literally 6-7 hours just mentoring, asking questions. That's part of what we do. We look at the compliance side of things. We're in the middle of getting ready to put some videos together for their new compliance course. It's going to be phenomenal. I should also disclose I do not own any stock at this time. Was planning on buying several thousand shares of stock when it was 5 cents. At $6.50, there's no logical reason that it should be that high. So we won't be buying any stock right now. We'll wait till it comes down. Once we figure out, was this just some uneducated investors that got excited and started buying stock, or was this some type of a manipulation? Hopefully the internal investigation will show what exactly has happened based on who's buying those shares, what entities or what individuals, because what you do got to look at is this is a publicly traded company. Of all the critics that are out there that might be looking at direct selling or even looking at Wake Up Now, I believe I'm the only one that has sat before the SEC in the last 18 months and has had a feel and have been able to ask them questions, what is it that you're looking for? And I guarantee you, when they find people manipulating a publicly traded company or selling unregistered securities or something like that, by golly, they're going to be in on it. So I hope if there's any stock manipulation that they're able to see it. Wake Up Now is able to show them what's going on, because that's just not right. But some of the stuff that's been happening over the last few days, right before Mother's Day, I started getting texts, calls, emails. Troy, is it true that Wake Up Now is going out of business? It's like, no, not at all. Matter of fact, I know the numbers from just last month's sales, which would blow you away. And I said, so no, not at all. I said, why? He said, well, they put up their annual report. Well, I went over and I looked at the SEC, and it's like they've not made any filings, and I was pretty sure I would know about the filings. And then I saw one of the critics had written an article, so I went and looked at his stuff and said, hey, where'd you get those figures? And then I found out they were at the OTC markets. That what had happened is when Wake Up Now saw that their stock had hit $6.50, they realized either somebody's really uneducated about investing or somebody's playing with our stock, and no matter what, we're going to abide by the rules, and we'll just put up a quick unaudited financial statement, put it up here and let people know, look, you need to understand we're still in the foundation stages. And that's exactly what they did. Now, they've been at this, the current management's been at it for a few years now, a couple years I think. But for you that don't know, Wake Up Now was part of a reverse merger. It came together. If you've taken the time to investigate this company, then 2010 and 2009 weren't good years either. But the current management team, Kirby Cochran, Phil, Jason, these guys, they had put the seed money in to make this company work. And when the former management that was there blew through the money, you ever seen the movie Other People's Money? Well, that's exactly what these guys did, blew through it. Kirby and Jason and Phil have been together for years, said, look, we don't want our money to go down the drain. Let's go in there and take over this company, see if we can make it work. Now, Kirby's written a phenomenal book, and they are running the business based off of that book. I don't know if you guys know it. I've done a great interview with both Jason and Kirby. We'll put them up here for you guys to watch over on the post. But he literally teaches at the University of Utah. This is not somebody that just decided to launch a network marketing company. So when I started looking at the financials, I thought, okay, this all lines up with what Kirby has shown me on the whiteboard. It lines up with what their plans are, and I thought, I don't see a big issue. And I'd let people know, no, this is not a big issue. This is part of a startup. This is part of the business. Now, when I went and looked at some of the critics' blogs, it was interesting to me, because critics do what critics are good at, and they look at things through their worldview. And a couple of these critics are hell on wheels when it comes to Ponzi schemes and pyramid schemes, and they've got their act together. But some of them just don't like network marketing companies for whatever reason. There's one critic out there, as a matter of fact, Oz over at Behind MLM. I swear, if him and Lynn Clements could get together, that the two of them are such analytical, they only see it one way, that the two of them could create the perfect network marketing company, because they're both two peas in a pod, I tell you. And Lynn is an inside critic, and Oz is an outside critic, but the two of them, I swear, they could create a company. But that's, I digress down a rabbit trail. But one of the things that I want to talk about is what is it that the financials show? Now understand, I don't know the history of all the critics out there, but I've got almost 20 years as a Series 6, 63, and 26 broker, and ran and had over, I think it was around 50 million under management. We have looked at financial sheets, we've looked at asset sheets, we've looked at mutual fund prospectuses, we've looked at company prospectuses. I was part of a mergers and acquisition firm, so we understand a little bit about numbers. And when you look at everything in this financial statement, first let's look at the disclosure. They made it very clear, look, if we keep going down this same path, we may not be able to be in operation. Well, yeah, you go through $8 million, putting it into the infrastructure of the company, putting it into research and development. If that doesn't pay off eventually, then guess what? Investors aren't going to give you any more money. You're gonna have to shut your door. Do I think Wake Up Now is even close to that? Absolutely not. Like I said, I know what last month's numbers were. I knew it the months before. Matter of fact, from October to now, I know where they have been. So I know the growth curve. Matter of fact, and I forget which, I downloaded it. I forget which page it came off of. I'll have to look. But I've got a graph of the Alexa chart that one of the critics put up. Now, Alexa's not the best metrics to look at, but it's the free metrics. That's what people look at. If you go and you get Compete or you get some of the others, you get a better feel. But in this one that he did, he actually showed something I thought was good. He showed the loss factor, and then he showed that their geometric progression as they started to climb. And he said, well, wait a minute, they're still showing a loss here. That's true, but the climb hasn't stopped. They've just hit that pinnacle where now they've gone like this. This is where you start to see the infrastructure, the costs, the monies that they start to catch up with what the sales are. And I think that's a good deal. Now, do we know for sure that they're going to make a profit in 2014? No, absolutely not. I don't know that. And if I did, I couldn't share it with you because, again, they're a publicly traded company and their financials aren't out. So we don't know that. But from what I've seen, let's take it back to October of 2013. BK Barreco had called and said, hey, what do you know about this little company? Because they're just a pain in my butt. And I said, well, what's the deal? He said, Wake Up Now. I said, dude, they're a nice company. They sometimes shoot themselves in the foot, but they're good guys. They're not a scam or anything like that. They're moving forward. Well, I don't know. It's okay, but I knew because one of their products, which is the Cyberhood Watch program, it's part of the One Security suite. I actually sat on the team that created that product. Leslie Harrison, who's the wife, wonderful gal of James Harrison, who owns Invisus. That was her baby. That was her mastermind, and I was privileged enough to sit on that because that was my last network marketing company that I built. I got out of that in 2009 when the industry had shifted, and he became really a consultant and a vendor to other companies. So I'm saying, no, this is good stuff. They got TaxBot in there. They've got a language program that's now owned by Rosetta Stone. I mean, these are quality products. They own the code, the software code to their daily deal. I said they own all of their back-end software. I said, BK, this is a great company. It's a small company and they need to turn the corner, but it's good. It's good company. Matter of fact, most of my team from Invisus had gone over there. So I knew a little bit about the company. They weren't a scam. But what I saw was BK's, he calls them his YPR. I laugh every time I hear that. Not at BK, but that any adult, any Generation X or baby boomer would think that the millennials are theirs. I'm raising millennials right now, and they are the most independent kids you've got. So when kids are in your company, you've got to mentor them, you've got to grow them, but they're not yours. They could move somewhere at the drop of a hat. So I always laugh when BK says that. But all of the young kids, the millennials, I saw them over at World Ventures. I saw them at VitaCup before, not VitaCup, but Vitel before that got sold. Motor Club of America. I see them at Limu. Gary Racer's got a heck of a team of these young kids over there. And the fun thing about Gary's team, it's the same thing I see at Wake Up Now, is he mentors. He teaches these kids, stay in school, pay for your school, get your education. You know, don't blow through the money that you're making. It's a good deal he's got. But you see them all over the place. But they are very aggressive marketers, and that's what had gotten me into working with Wake Up Now, is to mentor these kids, to sit down and help the company guide them through becoming entrepreneurs, being able to build their businesses, teaching them not to go out there and show the bling, not to go out there and flash the cash, don't show the Maseratis and all that, because the FTC, Federal Trade Commission, sees that as enticements. And I said, look, you know, there's no way to disclose that type of stuff in an IDS, an income disclosure statement. So, you know, but they'll see it that way. So unless you're going to put on those videos and you're going to control all the videos, hey, this is not the common amount. This is not what people see. Hey, go look at our IDS. I said, you can get your butt in trouble. And I know there's a lot of big companies on the top 100 list that's put out by the Direct Selling News that you see it. You see the checks across stage and you see all that. Look, people can run their business however they want to. I'm just telling you, as a consultant that works in the compliance, works in crisis management, works at helping companies start up, we teach to be conservative. You want your capitalist business, you want your entrepreneurialism to grow, you don't want to be shut down by regulators. So that's the kind of work that we do, and we looked at that. So all weekend long, as all this stuff started hitting, I said, you know, why is all this happening? Now, I just learned a couple days earlier that a rumor had been passed that there could be at least one direct selling CEO that was trying to pay critics to write reports, to put up information about Wake Up Now, because he was frustrated that some of his team had left and went to Wake Up Now. You know, rumors are rumors, but one thing that I can tell you, the reason organized crime has nothing to do with direct selling is there's no secrets. So eventually we'll get to the bottom of that one too. But I realized, okay, part of this annual report, since it wasn't a positive set of numbers, it could be the critics just grabbed a hold of it through the Google alerts, that's what we use, or it could be that it was passed off to them, and then we started seeing stuff on Facebook, we started seeing emails coming in and text, so I knew that it was being passed around. And Wake Up Now has been such an under-the-radar small company, it wasn't like people were looking at it. So you start to realize that there's stuff going on. Now, does it mean that Wake Up Now shouldn't be in research, that it shouldn't be looked at? No, absolutely not. Matter of fact, Tom Chenault and I have talked about this. I like the fact that Wake Up Now put out their numbers, the same reason he likes the fact that Longevity puts out theirs. See, when you're working with a publicly traded direct selling company, basically you're working with somebody that you can always look at them in their birthday suit. Drop their pants, they're down around their knees, they're down around their ankles, this is what you see, take it or leave it, because all the numbers are there. You know, so it's easy to see what you've got. You take a privately held direct selling company and they can keep their pants up, they can stick big socks in them, they can say, look how we grow, don't we look so big? And really it's all fake, it's all hype. And that's what the critics actually look at in most cases. So I was a little bit shocked when I saw that some of the critics were really pounding heavy on Wake Up Now after they had literally put out their numbers, and they don't hit other companies. That was what got me. You know, one of the companies that's really coming on strong right now is FG Express, which is owned by Forever Green. And until 2013, Forever Green had not earned a profit at all. Matter of fact, their financial statement looked almost exactly like Wake Up Now's. And yet none of the critics pounced on that. So I could tell there's probably a little bit of something that was there that had caught somebody's eye. But at the end of the day, one of the big things that the critics brought up, and I want to address that as we shut down on this video. Now we're going to cover several issues that the critics have brought up, from income disclosure statements to millennials and all that. But something I want to hit right now before we shut this one down is retail sales. I don't know why critics get hit on retail sales, because none of the regulators do. The regulators get focused on sales above and beyond the compensation plan. Burn Lounge, prime example. The judge in that said, look, there's only 1% of sales that were above and beyond or outside the compensation plan. That's not enough to be called a direct selling company. Fortune High Tech, which is, I mean, the regulators kind of pushed on that one, and then Paul Orbison passed away. But they were saying, look, there's not enough sales above and beyond what it takes to qualify in the compensation plan. Nothing about retail sales. Matter of fact, there's very few companies that even allow what we would call retail sales. That's where the distributor can take and retail the product in their own shop that they own. They could buy extra product and put it in flea markets and stuff like that. Not every company does that. Going back to Longevity for a minute. Longevity is a company, you can take their products, you can put them in stores, you can actually sell. If you can get the products and you can get them at a bulk rate, you can sell them and put them into retail establishments. Wake Up Now's that way. Wake Up Now has a bulk sale deal. Matter of fact, I know a country club in Park City that actually markets their products over there. It's not like over at Vima where they have the Vima Lounge and stuff like this. This is a independent company. They tasted the Thunder energy drink and now they're selling the Thunder energy drink in a country club. That happens. Now you've also got companies like Tupperware, Watkins, and Avon who really are more of the party plan side of things, but Watkins sells their products in Walmart and in Target. Tupperware tried Target, didn't work very well for them, and Avon has their own stores now in malls. So that's retail sales. Now a lot of times critics will look at it and say, well, it's a 70% rule. There is no 70% rule that is built inside of the federal or state codes. That goes back to a 1979 hearing where the judge said the reason Amway is not a pyramid is because they have a 70% rule. At that time, they used directs. They didn't have auto ships. They weren't selling to preferred customers. Literally, there's a guy that went direct. He had all the product, and you as the rep bought the product from him. And what they had is that you had to either use up yourself or sell 70% of your product. Later, one of the attorneys at the FTC wrote about that. For some reason, critics talk about retail sales. That's not what this is. Here's what I can tell you about Wake Up Now. In October, when I went into that company, they had around 30 employees. They had just moved to their brand new, I think it's 20,000 square foot office. In that office now, they have a complete customer service area, both national and international. They have another set of another team that covers only the distributors. They have another team that covers only compliance accounting. They've gone from 30 to over 200 employees. That's part of that $8 million is paying for those employees. They use metrics in everything. The customer service get paid based on, they take care of the customers. Same thing with the IBO team. They take care of those. Their tech team went from 2 to 20 because they're building out this brand new proprietary back end that's beautiful. And again, that team looks at the metrics 24/7, it seems like. Now, I don't know if they're there that whole time, but I talked to all of their team that day. And they said in this room, they've got like it's a 120-inch TV where they're watching, and if the website starts to slow down, they start looking at the web servers to see if something hung up. The only other company I've seen take this much time is a company I ran called ProStep here in Florida. And it was amazing because our team, Kurt Haynes, his whole crew, that's all they did was focus on what it took to make that company run so that the customers and the reps were happy. And I see that at Wake Up Now. It's amazing to see what they've done. But if you guys would go out, before you just listen to my stuff, before you listen to a critic, go pick up Kirby's book, or better yet, go watch the interview that I did with Kirby where he talks about the pillars of inflection, and you start to learn what this company is built on. You know, I've got to say this, and I go, a lot of my videos, I go this way. I talk about what my friend and my mentor, Richard Brooks, said. And he said, united we stand, divided we fall. Now, I don't expect the critics out there, I don't care if it's scam.com, realscam.com, behind MLM, or any of the others that are out there. I mean, there's hundreds, thousands maybe, of people that don't like network marketing, don't understand it, you know, and everything else. And then there's the inside critics. I don't care about, here's what I care about. If we will come together as a community and work together to make ourselves better, to make it as good as what we see franchising is today, then you know what? The critics won't have anything to really talk about. Period. That's the thing. And I'm not seeing that right now. Matter of fact, I know that in the case of Wake Up Now, at least one CEO I have tried over and over and over to get to sit down with Jason and just talk to him about, hey, you've got conflicts between your young teams. Let's work them out. And he hasn't done it. Closing this out, guys. You've got to focus on building your business. Absolutely. If you just look at the numbers at Wake Up Now and you don't look at where the company's going and you just want to write negative blog post or critical blog post, then there's going to be issues. But if you really focus on, are they building a platform? Have they built a platform that people are using? When you look at the fact that the numbers are going up, you start to see that this is a company that's starting to turn a corner, similar to when Amazon turned their corner. And they built into their business plan, it would be 5 years maybe before we show a profit. It actually was almost 6 before they built a profit. There's many companies that way. It takes time to build a business. Many companies, if you went and looked, you'd find out in those early years when it's in the research and development stages of a company that it takes time, it takes energy to make that work. And that's kind of what you've got here at Wake Up Now. We're going to continue to watch it. I'm going to continue to work with them. I've been amazed at seeing how they fixed their mistakes, how they've stayed true to their word. And what's even more amazing is the culture that they have created. Those kids that are not as predictable maybe as the past generations. They've been willing to forgive the mistakes because they've seen the authenticity of that team at that corporate office. And that team has stayed true to their word all along the way. We're still going to stay on those kids to make sure that they're doing business right, that they're marketing right. And we're also going to start looking at some of the other companies and some of the CEOs that are out there egging on their young team, talking about how they're going to bring down certain companies. You can't do that. And once it goes out there on the internet, it's public record, so we're able to show, hey, this is where the instigation's coming on. And the last thing that I want to see is any more lawsuits. I've started to see companies terminating reps for stupid reasons and suing them. We've started seeing companies suing each other, and we've seen a boatload of what's been called corporate espionage and tortious interference. And if we're going to build a community that the critics can't say is a bunch of Wild West gunslingers on the verge of just barely having it right, what Kevin Thompson calls the gray. If we're going to build a community, if we're going to build an industry that can be proud, we can be proud of, then we've got to do it right. We've got to do it in the black. And that means that we work together to do things by best practices. Even when companies may have dropped their drawers because of compliance and shown the truth. I would rather have a company like Wake Up Now or Youngevity or Herbalife or Nu Skin, these publicly traded MLMs right now, than these guys that are overhyping everything, talking about some list that they're on when I'm looking at other companies that I know have hundreds of millions of dollars and aren't on those lists because they didn't turn their numbers in because they said that's not what this is about. This is about building something that people can be proud of. And if you all get down to it, if you've stayed this long to watch this video, then whether you're a company owner, whether you're a vendor, whether you're an attorney, whether you're a consultant, whether you're a distributor, we are all on the same path, headed the same direction. We all want financial freedom. We all want to live within this community and have fun together. So why don't we go out there and do that and work to build it up instead of worrying about this fear of loss and tearing it down. Live life like it's an epic adventure. Stay dangerous, stay strong, and if you're in a network marketing company, then start acting like it.